Alright, good day class. So welcome back to our discussion about world religion. So this is our third episode, and in this episode we will talk about Confucianism. So before we start further, let me remind you to please click the subscribe button and click the notification bell for more updates. Alright, no? Okay. So before we proceed further, let me share with you a brief background, okay, of the Confucianism. Okay, so Confucianism is more on philosophy rather than a religion. When we speak about religion, we are speaking about God, gods and goddesses, deities, no? However, Confucianism doesn't talk about any gods or goddesses. However, Confucianism is a philosophy. Okay, when we speak about philosophy, we are pertaining about the way of life of the people. Okay, and this Confucianism philosophy, was originated from China, and this laid the fundamental principles and foundation for the Chinese culture. Kaya kung mapapadpad man kayo ng China, you may observe on the people there, na they are very very strict in terms of their rules, strict in terms of their tradition. It is because they are highly influenced by Confucianism. Because Confucianism class was focus mainly on the importance of personal ethics and morality. Okay? Kung paano mabuhay ng tama ng naayon sa moralidad. Alright? So, ayan. So, sabi nga ni Confucius, if you are the smartest person in the room, then you are in the wrong. So, a short quotation from Confucius. Ano ibig sabihin nito, no? So, in order for us to understand this philosophy, we must humble ourselves. Okay? Ito yung filosofiya nila, ito yung paniniwala nila, ito yung paraan nila ng pamumuhay. So, we must respect it. Okay? So, hindi mo pwedeng sabihin na alam mo na lahat ng bagay. Dahil hindi mo pwedeng sabihin na alam mo na lahat ng bagay dahil marami ka pang bagay na hindi alam. So, kaya sabi niya, if you're the smartest person in the room, and you are confident and you are the very, very smart person, then you are in the wrong room. Because yung nasa klase natin na ito ay yung mga estudyante na gustong matuto. Alright? So, you must humble yourself. Yun ang naman yung gusto sabihin ni Confucius doon. Alright? So, objectives as is. Okay? Ayan. So, history. Paano ba napunta sa Confucian yung paniniwala nila, Confucianism? So, it all began in Zhang Dynasty. No, medyo malayo pa to. So, on the Zhang Dynasty, they taught of cyclicity. No, ang buhay ay parang gulong, paikot-ikot lang. No? And this idea, this cyclicity, ay nakuha nila because of their observation about the cycles of day and night. Kasi ang araw at ang buwan, paikot-ikot lang. No? Ayan. The seasons, the moon, etc. A concept which remained relevant throughout later Chinese philosophy and immediately setting apart from the more linear Western approach. Alright? So, it is important to note, class, that during this time, sa Shang Dynasty, no? So, sila ay naniniwala sa gods and goddesses, no? Ancestors. Ayan. And they worship them, no? Yung mga gods nila at mga ancestors, they worship them. And of course, like Western tradition, they are fond of giving sacrifices towards their gods. No? Tao man yan, and hayop man yan, inaalay nila para sa Diyos nila. Diyos nila. Okay? And then the next is the Zhao Dynasty. Zhao ang basa dyan. I don't know why, but Zhao ang basa. Alright? So the concept of the mandate of heaven was introduced, which held that heaven would bless the authority of the just ruler, but would be displeased with the unwise ruler and retract the mandate. So, you may observe, no? Meron silang concept ng heaven. So, ibig sabihin, they are still believing in God. Gods and goddesses, no? And their ancestors. Okay? So, ayan. So, gusto ng langit na magkaroon ng isang matinong tagapamumuno. Ayan. So in about 500 BC, ayan, around the same time as Greek philosophy was emerging, so dito pa lang umuusbong ang Greek philosophy na discuss natin before. So the classic period, oh, hindi ko pala discuss yun because we discussed that on my other sections, no, sa philosophy class ko. Anyway, no, ayan, it's important to note that during this time, yung Greek philosophy na humahalo. Okay? So the classic period of Chinese philosophy, known as the contention of 100 schools of thought, flourished. And the four most influential schools, Confucianism, Taoism, Buddhism, and legalism, were established. Okay, then pumasok na yung Qin Dynasty, so the imperial era. No? After unification ng China in 221 BC, legalism became ascendant at the expense of the Mohist and Confucianist schools. Okay? So, after that, pumasok na yung Neo-Confucianism. So, unti-unti nagkakaroon ng paniniwala or belief system dun sa mga turo, mga doctrines na in-establish ni Confucius. So, nung simula, ang tawag doon ay Neo-Confucianism. So, it is a variant of Confucianism incorporating elements of Buddhism, Taoism, and legalism. Okay? So, Neo-Confucianism was introduced during the Song Dynasty and popularized during the Ming Dynasty. During the industrial and modern ages, Chinese philosophy also began to integrate concept of Western philosophy. So, may impluensya pa rin ng Western philosophy ang mga Chinese. Alright. So, sino ba si Confucius? Confucius was a Chinese philosopher, okay, a government official, wandering from region to region within China. In his philosophy, he emphasized personal and governmental morality, correctness of social relationships, justice, kindness, and sincerity. Okay? So, in a sense, class, no, Confucianism mainly concerned on the government of society and, of course, ethics. So, Confucius was primarily known in China for giving moral advice to the leaders of the country. Okay? He wrote deeply mostly about individual morality, ethics, and the proper use of political power by the rulers of the. Alright? So, marami siyang sinulat, no? And kabilang doon yung 5 classics and 4 books. 5 classics na tawag nilang Wujing and 4 books na tawag nilang Sishu. Okay? So, these collectively create the foundation of Confucianism. Okay? So, the 5 classics, ano ba nilalaman nun? The Book of Documents. Book of Documents compilation of 58 chapters detailing the events of ancient China. So, nandiyan yung mga pagkakasunod na nangyari doon sa China. Mga rulers, mga leaders. Okay? Kung ano yung mga na-contribute nila sa society, no? Nandiyan yan. Parang history. History book. So, the Book of Documents tells the deeds of early sage kings, Yao and Zun. Okay? These narratives are influential in the development of understanding of sage. The compilation also includes the history of Xia, Shang, and Zhou dynasties. Ayan. So, this book was often considered as the first narrative of the history of ancient China. Okay, the second book is the Book of Odes. So, this is translated as the Book of Songs or Book of Poetry. Okay, it comprises of 300 poems dealing with a range of issues, including love and marriage, agricultural concerns, daily lives, and war. Okay. Third is the Book of Rights. The Book of Rights describes the social norms, governmental organization, the ritual conduct during the Zhou dynasty. Ayan. So, believed to have been compiled by Kongzi. Okay. The Book of Rights foundation of many ritual principles that arise in later imperial China. Okay, according to the Book of Rights, proper ritual conduct would maintain harmony in the empire as well as emphasize the virtue of piety. Number 4, the Book of Changes. No, the Book of Changes contains a system of divination which is centered largely around the principles of yin and yang. Are you familiar with the yin and yang? Of course, no? Na-encounter nyo to maybe on the other subjects, no? But yin and yang, no, shows balance, no? For information, it shows the balance. So in terms of morality, in application of yin and yang, we may observe that kahit gaano ka sa kambuting tao, meron ka pa rin maliit na kasamaan sa pagkatao. At kahit gaano ka kasamang tao, meron ka pa rin kakaunting kabutihan sa kalooban. So that is why, no, each person is composed of yin and yang. No? Walang tao na pinanganak na purong masama. Walang taong pinanganak na purong mabuti. It is always the balance of the two. Okay? So the Book of Changes has also been translated as I Ching or Classic of Changes. Some of the divination practices are still used today. Okay, and meron na tayong tinatawag na Spring and Autumn Annals, no? Okay, so this is the longest of the 5 classics. A historical chronicle of the state of Lu appear to have been created specifically for analytic purposes. Ano ba yung annals, no? Annals tayo ng annals dito. Oh. When we speak about annals, we are not speaking about the thing that you are thinking, no? When we speak about annals, it pertains to a record of events year by year, okay? So, it is historical records, mga chronicles, no? Yung pagkakasunod din. Taon-taon yan. Okay? Kaya annals. Right? Okay, so traditionally understood as being written by Confucius, but modern scholars believe the text was actually written by various chronicles from the state of Lu. Okay, so now let's go to sacred text. The Great Learning. Okay, so the Great Learning is the key to moral self-cultivation. Okay, because they believe that through the investigation of things, one come to understand the principle in all things, which allows one better comprehend the world. Okay? Sa magitan ng moral cultivation ay mas naiintindihan daw natin ang kapaligiran o ang mundo. Okay, and the second one is the Analects. Written during the spring and autumn period through the Warring States period, the Analects, a collection of Confucius teachings and discussions with disciples. No? Ayan. So, just like the Great Learning, yung nauna ko nabanggit, no? According to the Analects, the first step in knowing the way is to devote oneself to the learning. So, dapat matuto ka, dapat alam. And then, meron tinatawag na Mencius, no? Mencius is a collection of conversations Mencius had with Kongzi. Okay, mga conversations. So, in this book class, no, Mencius puts or emphasize, no, with regards to the responsibility of the emperor to have a good governance towards the governing people, no? Dapat maging mabuting tagapamuno ang isang tagapamuno. Alright, so yun ang tinuturo sa Mencius. Okay, so 4 books. Pang-apat, The Doctrine of the Me. So it was attributed with attributed to Zishi. So sino ba si Zishi, no? Yun yung apo siya ni Kongzi. Okay, apo siya ni Kongzi. Okay, the Doctrine of the Main focus on the following the way and acting in accordance with what is right and natural. but acknowledges that people often do not act properly. Ano ba sinasabi sa doctrine of the mean? Pag sinabi nating mean, it is always the middle ground. Okay? Ang gusto lang sabihin ng doctrine of the mean, no, we must attain or we must maintain the perfect balance. Okay? In order for us to have harmony in our life, dapat balance ang buhay. Okay? And Confucianism has many doctrines, no? Yi pertains to righteousness. Shin pertains to honesty and trustworthiness. Shang, loyalty to the state. Li includes ritual propriety etiquette. Xiao, love within the family, love of parents for their children, and love of children for their parents. Okay? Jen, benevolence, humanness towards one another. Okay? Be familiarized with yourself to this. Okay? Now, meron sila tinatawag with regards to their doctrine, no? Meron sila tinatawag na ritual propriety. Ano yung sabihin, no? So, because Confucius very particular with regards to ritual. Napakahalaga na ritual sa kanya. Okay? Because Confucius believed on the value of ritual, no? Because these rituals or this ceremony steers the emotions of the people. And rituals makes our intentions clear and help us understand how to behave on a particular occasion. Okay, for example, ito, nakalagay dito, di ba? Birth, maturity, marriage din. Particularly sa marriage, no? Siyempre, mayroong ceremony ng kasal. So, since papasok sa utak mo na mayroong kinakasal, you will behave accordingly based on the occasion. Pagka birthday yan, siyempre dapat masaya, dapat ganyan. Pagka mayroong patay, mayroong seremonya ng patay, siyempre dapat malungkot ka. Okay? So, ayan. So, Confucius is very strict on that. Kaya, part of their doctrine is ritual propriety. Okay? And meron naman tinatawag sa Confucianism na filial piety. So, you must honor your parents. Napakahalaga niya. No? Hindi ka pwedeng maglayas sa bahay nyo hanggat buhay pa yung pamilya. Hanggat buhay pa yung mama, nanay at tatay mo. Okay? So, ano dapat gawin? No? You must obey your parents, no? When we were young, we must take care of them when they are old. We must mourn for them when they die, and we must make sacrifices for them. Kapag ka naging alaala na sila, no? Nag-aalay tayo para sa kanila. Because you may recall earlier, no, I mentioned that Chinese people, no, they have high regards with their ancestors. Okay? So, ayan. Kaya yan ang dapat gawin. You know, in honor of your parents, no, dapat sundin natin sila hanggat bata. Alagaan sila sa pagtanda. Mag-mourn tayo kapag namatay sila. Magbigay tayo ng alay kapag naging alaala na lang sila sa atin. Okay? So, dahil strict, dapat di tayo lumalayo sa magulang natin habang nabubuhay pa sila. Alright? Wait lang. Commercial break muna. Alright, so, ayan. So, for Confucius class, no, morality or our moral life begins with the family. Kaya dapat pahalagahan natin yung pamilya natin. Okay, lalo na sa pananaw ng mga Confucianism, mahalaga ang ginagampanan na role ng magulang natin sa pagtanda natin. Okay? Ayan. So, filial piety, no? Obey honorable people. So, isa mga doktrina ng Confucianism, no? Dapat bigyan nating halaga ang ibang tao, lalo na kung mataas ang katungkulan nila. For example, no? Sa Christianity, meron tayong tinatawag na mga hierarchy sa simbahan. Meron tayong pope, meron tayong mga bishops. Okay? And Kung ikaw ay Confucius, ikaw ay Confucianism, ikaw ay member ng Confucianism, no? You must give high regards to the higher authority. Okay? Sa paniniwala ng Confucianism. Kahit ano pa yan, kahit hindi man yan Confucian people, no? You must give high regards kasi mas mataas sila sa'yo. Tulad na lang ng obispo, mga pari, mga cardinal, santo papa, no? We must give them high regards. We must honor them. We must venerate them. Okay? Okay, so sa Buddhism naman, okay, na-discuss natin before. Okay? So, dapat bigyan din natin ng respeto yung mga gurus nila. For example, this one, si Dalai Lama. No? Dalai Lama is a guru of Buddhism. Okay? And since mataas ang katungkulan ng Dalai Lama, we must respect him. No? We must give high regards with him. We must honor him. And the same with the Jewish. No? Kahit Hudyo man itong mga to, yung rabbi nila, mataas ang katungkulan niya. So, dapat irespeto pa rin natin sila. Okay? Ayan. So, yun ang inuturo sa Confucianism. Okay? Any question? Parang marinig yung mga sagot niyo. If you have any question, just put your question on the comment section below. And again, don't forget to click subscribe and click the notification bell for more updates, no? Ayan. So, kung may tanong kayo, pwede rin kayo mag-approach sa akin on our face-to-face meeting. Alright? So, that ends our discussion about Confucianism. Okay, so thank you, class. See you next meeting, and God bless us. All right.